I think my husband and I did just want a family, and we did start looking at other options because the journey for us was so long and so unlikely. So that was a big part of the journey, trying to come to terms with the fact that family can come from different places than what you imagined originally. I guess I hope that it would work in the end. My husband and I were going to start trying when I turned 30. So I came off birth control. And then the first 2 months, my period was a bit sketchy. And then on the third month, I started bleeding, and I didn't stop bleeding for about a bit over 2 months. They started investigating, and to summarize 6 months worth of testing, I have a rare genetic condition. So that kind of pretty much decided that our IVF journey was the only way that we could potentially conceive.
So what kind of options were you looking at that point? They say you need IVF, so then what were the next steps?
We tried a few rounds of egg collection. They all failed. By the time I found out that I had the condition, it was too late for me. We didn't get that many embryos, unfortunately, but at least there were some versus none. And then I had quite a few cancelled rounds because I was having issues with my endometrial lining, like the uterus lining. But yeah, we haven't quite figured out why. Sometimes in fertility, things just happen. Then I finally did manage to do a few implant rounds. So it's been a long process.
How long has that gone for, and how many cycles have you done?
About 3 years. Cycles upwards of 10.
Can you kind of describe what a day is like going through that for someone who hasn't been through IVF?
I ironically had a very calm personality coming into it. That changed dramatically. Lots of anxiety when you're doing all the egg collection stuff. You're trying to fit your life around, all of the injections, which have to be in the fridge, and they have to be at very specific times, and it never matches up with your life, and you're going into the clinic every other day for scans and blood work, and then you're just waiting by the phone desperately for someone to call to tell you, next steps, how you did. When I was going through the implant cycles, I was on so many different medications that again, it's just trying to fit it around your life. Yeah, I would say a general day is a combination of anxiety and just figuring out how to take things as they come, because it just never went to planned.
So what's kept you going then, having, it wasn't successful the first time or the second time? Why have you continued?
I think my husband and I did just want a family, and we did start looking at other options because the journey for us was so long and so unlikely. So that was a big part of the journey, trying to come to terms with the fact that family can come from different places than what you imagined originally. I guess I hope that it would work in the end. When the egg collection, after multiple rounds, when that failed, my clinician, Dr. Lee, who's a wonderful communicator, which I think you really need in this process, he said, there's nothing more we can do on this front. Doesn't mean your journey's over, but this is where this part of the journey has to end. Each chapter had its own, when will I stop? And for every person, that's extremely individual. I think any insight that I can share is that no matter how you're approaching your journey, that's okay. If you feel like you need to seek out a community, then do it. If you feel like you just need time to yourself and the ones that are closest to you, do it. And it doesn't have to be consistent throughout your journey. My journey was 3 years. Sometimes I was talkative. Sometimes I was crying in the bathroom by myself. And I think just being able to recognize that, okay, today is a day where I'm okay to talk. I'm okay to listen. And today is a day where I just need some time to myself. But I think that would be the only insight that I could really share, that it's okay to recognize portions of yourself throughout the journey.